Welcome to the Edamame Anime Club, where we're currently being accused of peeping by the Underground Student Council. I'm Steve, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Alexander, as always, great to be here.
And today we got a pretty good.
Pretty
it's,
good.
it's a good anime. Yeah. But before we get it, well, let's explain the anime, and then we'll talk about the beers
All right.
that
All
we
right.
got. What anime are we doing today?
We're gonna be a pretty renowned one. It rides its own coattails in here. Prison School.
We are doing Prison School. Prison School to me is so infamous that like it to me it doesn't need that much of an introduction.
Yeah, it's definitely infamous.
I feel like everyone has like quoted Prison School, like not quoted but memed him
Yeah.
because there's so many good memes that come from Prison
The,
School.
the main meme that I was waiting on took a while to show up. I think it didn't show up until like the fourth half of the show. The one that I had always known Prison School for before we ever watched it.
Yeah,
Like it's consistently memed.
yeah, it was. I yeah, agreed. I did.
Yeah.
I saw clips of it and didn't even think this was a real anime. So in honor of that, I thought to get us since this anime is pretty degenerate,
It's definitely degenerate.
I decided to get a degenerate beer. So today we're trying Arrogant Bastard Ale. I've never had this one, and it looks awful. So
I think there's a reason they call it that.
Yeah.
Also, it works well because you'd have to be a arrogant bastard to fucking watch this anime in public.
Kampai in public, yeah.
Kampai.
Kampai.
Definitely heavy on the IPA flavor.
Definitely hops.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Ooh. Yeah, the hops.
Yeah, it definitely does have a little after kick on that one. I mean, you're right. You gotta be an arrogant bastard to watch this anime on a subway or something.
Yeah.
Oh man, lingering. Coffee flavor?
Doesn't have the best. It almost tastes like it could be coffee.
You getting a coffee flavor? I'm getting a coffee flavor here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's more just like the heavy IPA taste, just lingering.
It tastes like when you eat a grapefruit and you lose your taste buds.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
It's going heavy into the grapefruit taste.
Yeah, I think anyone that watches this anime should probably drink this as well. Yeah. Right. So I think this was a good choice for the anime, and I'm gonna be sipping on this. Probably gonna be milking this Miller Lite over here. But so let's talk a little more about this. So we've been talking about doing a fan service for a while.
Yeah.
And we just didn't know which one to do.
We've done a few first looks on some fan service, but never like a full season.
Yeah, which first look have we done that's a fan service?
100 Girlfriends.
Is that fan service?
It's fan service.
Okay, all right. I haven't. I don't know.
It wasn't as blatant as this one. I mean,
I thought we did another fan service one. Undead Unluck is kind of fan servicey.
A little bit. I was gonna say Elfen Lied sort of has the fan service elements in it, but never a full one that's just pure fan service.
See, I don't even think that was fan service because we talked about the difference between fan service and just blatantly just nudity.
Yeah.
Fan service is like oops, my top fell open, and Elfen Lied is just like I'm naked because I've been a prisoner for years.
Yeah, you're right.
So, but you're right. That there was definitely nudity in this one. So definitely that this fan service is a subset of nudity, but this one just got way out of hand. So why pick an anime? Why pick an anime that is, why pick an anime for the fan service when we can pick the anime that has that really just set the tone for what fan service is?
This one's like a genre defying fan service because it's actually enjoyable, like beyond the actual elements. There's only like a few other purely fan service anime I've ever watched that I thought was like, wow, the story's not that bad. And it'd probably be High School DD.
High School DD, yeah, definitely has a really good story. Without you take out the nudity or take out the fan service, it's still a good anime.
Yeah,
this would still be a good anime.
Yeah, the plot points are there enough to make it interesting to watch.
This is probably one of our first official comedies. It's definitely a comedy. Like I don't think
for sure.
We've watched a full-on comedy. Well, 100 Girlfriends is a comedy. But this is legit.
It was a different kind of comedy.
Yeah, it was like a slice of life comedy. This is legit a full-on comedy with the story and every scene, everything you watch in the background was hilarious. Like just watching the characters interact with each other. If you even take out the fan service, it's still a good anime.
Yeah. The fan service actually felt kind of out of place at points for me. Like I didn't really it gets a little overbearing. If you can even say that about fan
I
service.
that's surprising coming from you, but like for me, I thought it was just it was going for that, I think, and that was
Yeah.
why I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely reminds you're a degenerate every 2-3 minutes.
Oh yeah, like you definitely can't watch this.
Nonstop.
You
Yeah.
can't watch this at if you live with other people. You either unless you live with some degenerates like I do, you can't watch it around other people.
I will say, I was in the living room and my cousin came down to visit, right? And I was like, hey, I'm gonna throw on some anime, like, you don't mind, right? He's like, yeah, what's the last one I watched with you? Like Kakaguri? And I was like, yeah, you didn't like that one at all. He was like, yeah, I hated that. And so I was like, well, you're in for a treat here. So I threw on Prison School, and he sat through about 3 episodes with me before I was like, okay, I need to like, go do other stuff. And he was like, Kakaguru is way better. Like he did not like Prison School.
It was yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste. If you're not a big fan of the fan
Yeah.
service, then you
I
probably,
think he legitimately enjoyed it. He just didn't like the overt fan service.
so it's a good anime. All right, so I mean, you don't really have too much on the background, but can you talk about the creator and maybe a little bit about
Yeah.
some background information?
So Prison School was written and illustrated in the manga by Akira Hiramoto. Obviously, it was serialized in Weekly Young magazine, and it had an anime that aired in 2015.
It's relatively new.
Relatively new, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the anime I like to talk about is way older than this, so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's in new gen, so it definitely
Yeah.
fits in the new gens. I mean, it definitely the animation style kind of shows it as well. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anything else?
Nah, since its anime aired in 2015, it has over 13 million copies sold as of 2018. So,
This anime is probably one of those that would just sit on the shelf, and then once it gets spread, it's gonna be spread everywhere. Everyone's gonna say like, "I can't watch this," and then go home. Well, let me watch episode
Yeah.
2 and 3, and then it's just gonna repeat the
it
cycle.
becomes their like personal secret that
Yeah,
they're watching it.
Yeah, it
Like,
turns
their
into
guilty,
like
their guilty pleasure.
Yeah, it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
It just fights. It fights. It really does fight it fights against the normal amount of fan service.
Fights
It
against.
fights
the
it. It
normal
beats it
amount.
down to the
Okay.
ground. All right. So now that we got a little background information, I think it's time for our reviews. And you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna give this one 3.5 out of 5 edamames. It was good. The comedy's spot on. One of the things that I ironically found detracted from it was the amount of fan service. Like, and the critical scenes that it's important, and I liked it.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was like obsessive overuse of the fan service. Like, and it's kind of just drills that point home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking like just straight up from the angles and shots they use. So that the over repetitiveness of the fan service made it seem like it was compensating for like it has a very lackluster middle of the anime, like where
Okay.
it bogs down, and I think that's where they just hone in on the fan service, and that's where I think I was noticing it.
Yeah. And I agree with a lot of that. So you said 3.5?
3.5. So yeah.
Okay, 3.5 edamames out of 5. I am gonna give this one a 4.25.
4.25.
If you look at this anime for what it is, being just fan service, you're gonna miss some beautiful story. You're gonna miss a beautiful story of like love and jealousy and really teenage angst and puberty and what it feels to be like, what is attractive, and like there were so many elements you can dive into this. But really, in my opinion, it's a really a love story between Kiyoshi and
Chio.
what
Oh.
Hana.
Oh.
What are you
Okay. Is that
talking
where we're
about?
going? Is that
Yeah,
where we're
what
going
are
with
you
this?
you
Okay.
talking about? What are you talking about? You talking about Chio, the one that's getting involved, like ruining that? No, it's a really good story, and like it to me, I watched it for what it was. I knew it was a comedy,
Yeah.
and I was legit snapping you. I was like, dude, this is so fucking. I
Yeah.
was laughing so hard at some of this, and
yeah.
and I'm just in my room by myself, like laughing, like just can't get enough of it,
It's definitely one of those animes that will fucking elicit that out of you. Like you're just like laughing like out loud. Yeah.
There's just so many funny scenes that are like in the back. There's like, and it's like not even like the front scenes, like the dialogue. There's like scenes in the background that happen where like they're playing tag,
Yeah.
and it was just making me laugh. And I really did enjoy this.
Yeah.
And the animation was good. I mean, the music was good, which we'll cover that when we get in the beginning. But yeah, it was, to me, it was great.
And to clarify, we watched the English dub.
Yeah,
I think anime like this, you should watch the dub.
you should definitely watch it dubbed. I think this one is one that like was more westernized.
Yeah,
for
for sure.
us to for like, because for our humor.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people in Japan would they would find this crude and it's somewhat crass to enjoy this. So I think that to me was really good.
Yeah.
So all right, what are other people saying about this anime? Obviously, they're just getting good marks, right?
Yeah. Actually, for the most part, it was hard to find a bad remark, but I'll start out with an 8 out of 10. This one's written by Moses AFR. Rates it a 4. Or no, I was going to do the Namame system. He rates it an 8 out of 10. Unique. Not like anything I've seen before. I've watched a ton of anime, and this one really stands out. Despite swinging between misogyny and misandry while being drenched in lewdness, it has a weird charm to it. It's hard to explain. It's just unforgettable. The characters are all memorable, and it'll make you cry from laughter every 2 minutes.
I agree. What he said, misogyny and what?
Misogyny and misandry, which is like
The opposite.
opposite, like women beating on men, I guess. Yeah.
So wow, that was actually spot on. I agree. Every 2 minutes, I was giggling, and he's definitely right. There is some type of dichotomy between misogyny and what was the other one?
Misogyny?
Misandry.
Misandry.
Okay, yeah. There was a dichotomy between them two, and that was always being played on.
Yeah.
All right. You got any? So you said you couldn't find a bad one. It was hard, right?
Yeah. Well, that was an 8 out of 10 review that I just read, and there was no not 8 out of 10 review except for this one.
Okay.
It's the only one. There wasn't even a 1-star review, which I was really surprised by.
That is surprising.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
So this is the lowest it went. Let's see. Invisible Unicorn Ninja rates this 5 out of 10. Okay, I guess. This is an ecchi comedy anime, meaning it only works for you if you find it funny. While I like the animation and all the technical aspects of it, I really don't find this show to be very funny.
Oh. So I really can't do. I can't really dive into that one without being. I mean, he's right. I mean, so can you tell everyone a little bit about ecchi?
Yeah. Well, ecchi anime is obviously like, kind of lewd.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, all right. Yeah, because there's a convention coming up. It's called EchiCon.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, we should probably go to that one.
Okay.
And we should dress up as prison school. All right. Well, I mean, I thank you. Great name. I mean, he's not wrong on something. If you come into this and you're expecting like an elegant story, and it's not. It's crass humor. It's definitely something that you're going to not enjoy. Don't watch it around your girlfriend, or you might be single the next day, or your parents because they might disown you.
I think he just hits the nail on the head by saying like he didn't find it funny. It wasn't for him. So like, if you watch the first episode and you don't find any of it funny, yeah, not for you. You'll be rating it like this guy.
Agreed.
Where he says he even agrees that the animation's pretty good and the other technical aspects being like the voice acting and such, he liked that, but he just didn't find it funny.
Oh man, well, you have those every once in a while, everyone. All right, well, that's all we got for the reviews and our take and stuff. So if you have not watched Prison School, you can go and find it at Crunchyroll. That's where I watched it. Full nudity, full nudity. I think you'll enjoy it. On my obviously I gave it a 4.25, but yeah, that's where we watched it. So we are gonna get in these spoiler alerts. So if you have not watched it, stop the video right now. Go watch it. It's only 12 episodes. Binge it tonight, and then come back and tell us what you think. Write it in the comments. Let us know, because we're about to get into the spoiler section.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's jump a little bit about the introduction. What did you think about the intro?
I really love the intro. Like the music, I like.
Oh yeah, it was like metal.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah, it was great scenery, great imagery. They have a lot of cool little like it's like zooming in and out.
Yeah,
and they really touched base on the whole prison aspect of it all, and the crows. They had a lot of interesting things with the crows, but the music was phenomenal.
It was basically like a montage to all the characters, which I liked. Like you get to see pretty much all of them.
It kind of reminded me of Metalocalypse when there's
yeah,
it was pretty good. I agree. I mean, not as death metal, but yeah, and it did showcase the all the characters. Now, outro.
It was fine from the fan service ecchi aspect of it.
Yeah,
like I could watch it for that and see like where they're putting little details in, and I could see that. Other than that, I didn't really want to rewatch it over and over again. Like there's not. That's what it was.
It didn't grow on me either. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest.
It was entirely designed just to throw a little bit of
imagery,
fan service at you at the very end. Like you didn't get enough. Like watch the credits. We got a little extra for you.
Oh yeah, yeah, a little extra right there. Yeah, but it's the same pictures, right? It's the same outro.
Yeah.
So yeah, the outro, but the music, I didn't. It was very unmemorable. It was not memorable to me either. So yeah. Now the animation on this show was very interesting.
Yeah, I actually really liked it.
I agree.
It reminds me a lot of like One Punch Man, like with
Yeah,
the way the faces are.
agreed. Yeah, it did different like styles of animation for the characters when different things goes. But the funny part is they have these scenes where they're really serious,
Hmm.
and it's like it's not even a serious moment. It's like the girls are dressing up naked,
Yeah,
and it like zooms in, and they're all like with the face, and
yeah.
it was really. I thought it was really funny. Like I thought it was great animation across the board. I didn't see any CGI, which I think is it might have been there.
They only do it like in like overarching panning of like the prison
Oh, okay.
kind of scenes. They also there's this weird like it's the prison break scene, in episode 5 or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Like they do this weird CGI where it's like his point of view as he's like running out the bathroom and going to the tunnel. Like I don't know if you caught
Oh,
that.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
CGI.
Yeah, okay. I didn't
It has
catch
it
it.
in there, but it's not very
It's like
much.
Metal Gear Solid, right? Calling through the tunnels.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't catch
yeah,
that as far as
that
CGI.
was CGI.
All right. Now, what I really like about this anime, and I didn't touch on it when I gave my review. Sorry, guys, but character design and development, and the characters in general.
All the characters are likable, which I thought was pretty interesting that he managed to pull off. Like normally there's like a few characters on the main cast, which are the 5 prison
Yeah.
students, right? Like I ended up liking all of them, and then I actually ended up liking like all the supporting cast as well, like
Yeah.
all the student council. The
There's one character I don't like.
who's that?
It's Amari. Mari, the leader of the student council, the
Okay,
crow. Yeah.
the main one, the
I,
cool
I
one.
didn't like her. But my favorite character, and you're right, every character is likable to some extent.
Mm.
Like you have Kiyoshi being the leader and kind of being like the most innocent out of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have Shio just kind of like always the embrace of like innocence and always like you know biting the best out of everyone.
yeah, I can agree.
Gakuto, hilarious.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's like the
Hilarious.
degenerate of the group.
He's like the most degenerate, but also he's like the most brainy of them
Yeah,
all. And it's just that tying of them. Shingo has a redemption arc in there,
yeah,
which I really like. Joe to me is very underutilized, but the fact that he has canker sores and I really enjoyed seeing him on screen. And he has one of my favorite scenes, and I'll talk about that in a bit.
yeah. I always
Yeah.
thought he looked like a one of the Assassin's Creed
I was
characters.
just about to say
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
and I feel like they played into that in the anime.
I
Like,
can see
heavily,
that.
heavily.
Then we have Andre, who to me is also underutilized, but he was just kind of the chubby fat guy that
Yeah.
added the comedic element to our all.
Yeah, his some of his themes are one of the reasons why I thought like the fan service was overplayed. Like,
Oh yeah,
I felt like they kept coming back to him. Like,
because like he was the most
Yeah.
like wanting of it all.
yeah, he could have had just like a one single episode explaining that, and then like him passing it over. And so they drag it out like 3, 4 episodes and make it like a pivotal point.
Yeah,
Which I guess that's why they dragged it out, but it's a huge pivotal point.
yeah, like his like episode that where his
Mhm.
like dying for it
Mhm.
like plays a part in it. I agree. Then we got Miku, the
Vice
vice
president?
president student council, underground student council. What do you think about her?
Uh, visually pleasing.
She is amazing.
You liked her. I actually really liked her character. Hers was another one of the tropes that I found like getting a little annoying, like overbearing, and it was mainly the sweating aspect.
Oh, I liked that it was funny because like she was only sweating around like certain people, like really it was
Yeah,
around Madi,
yeah,
and I really liked that that she was like very nervous and she always wanted to do right by Madi, and it
Yeah.
was kind of like where you always want to do right by your boss and things like that.
yeah.
Yeah, my favorite characters coming up though is Hana.
Hana, I agree. I think her dynamic between Kiyoshi like it definitely carried the show.
Yeah, it was to me. I was always wanting them to be around each other.
Yeah,
I honestly felt like there was so much chemistry there.
yeah,
And I feel like also that Hana was like her background, oh they're like oh man she's wearing shorts
yeah.
and she's like whooping their asses. I really like that. Charles, these are my notes.
That's how you know that the writer did a good job because like I don't know every single time those two are on screen together or have any interaction like it's like lightning in a bottle like you don't know what's about to happen.
Yeah, okay, Charles, you can. I just need to see her. And we got just one more character that's kind of important, and that's Chairman Kurahara.
I just have him written down as a chairman. I don't know
Yeah,
his name.
yeah. Well, it's Kurahara, and he's funny.
Yeah.
He's a good character to have because like it's just like he's the one. Oh, Charles, it's like he's the one that is like pulling on the strings, of course, but like you can see that he plays in a lot of the tropes that like these boys are getting in trouble for peeping, but yet he has like a a stash of pornography in the
Yeah.
woods, which you've told me about this. Like, why is that a thing?
It's truly a thing for, I don't know about nowadays. Gen Zers might be missing out on this, but there's once upon a time you could walk into the woods and just find lewd magazines.
You just stumble around some Playboys.
It's happened to me more than once.
Yeah.
I'll put it out that way.
So so that was the other one, but all the characters are very likable. Even I don't mind Madi too much. I just feel like I wanted more redemption from her, and I didn't get it.
More redemption from her. See, is she the vice president or the president?
She's the president.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the one with the crows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, let's jump in these episode by episode and get into this. The first episode is called "The Peep Job,"
The peep job,
which is really funny. So we get these 5 students that are male, and they've been enrolled in an all-female high school, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's the first time they've ever done this, which is funny. Like, what is the picking order for this? How do you?
Obviously, it's the matriarchy.
But like, who picked these 5? Like,
Oh yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
like why these 5? And
Yeah.
why are they so degenerate? They picked the worst out of the bunch. Like, if you think about all the other anime we watch, pick any of the MCs, and they would rarely be viewed in this light.
Yeah, most people would be like honorable about the whole thing.
Like, oh, you're naked. Nope, not these guys. But we get that, and we introduced all the characters already. But really, this story is about Kiyoshi, and he's trying to talk to girls. So the first episode, quick synopsis: 5 boys newly enrolled in a formerly all-girl high school, already having difficulty connecting with the girl students, run afoul of the school's underground student council and face strict disciplinary measures. And that's a good rundown of it all, really.
Yeah.
So the what they're getting at is that like they're trying, Kiyoshi's trying to talk to girls, and he's just like, it
Yeah.
just freezes.
Yeah.
But we get a funny scene where he drops his eraser, and it's the sumo guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, come on, mom, you got me a sumo. Nobody likes this." And she's like, "Is that the name of the sumo guy's name, who I don't remember because it's not that important?" And he's like, "You watch sumo?"
Yeah.
And then I really like that scene. That was really early on too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really built on this relationship between Shio and Kiyoshi.
Yeah, it actually makes Chio likable. Like, it makes her like a viable, like, actual romantic interest from Kiyoshi.
Yeah, because at this point we don't really know if she's like it's kind of like when you find out a girl loves like Call of Duty, right? Or like loves Tekken, or is like a fan of Street Fighter, or
Yeah. Okay.
it's one of those like where they
Or just watches anime in general.
yeah, or they watch anime in general. Yeah, it's like something that you can bond over,
Yeah.
and it really like enlightens you more, and it like spruits you up. So I agree. I think that was I really like that scene where they're talking. And what I really like is because the guys are all maybe Kiyoshi's getting laid, and they're like, no, he's not. He's a loser. They're just shitting on him. So that was really good. Now, can we get in this peep show heist?
Peep show heist. I mean, that's the highlight of the episode.
It's funny. They're all dressed in all black.
Yeah, I like the Mission Impossible like get up that they got going.
The music too is also kind of like 007. The way they do doom doom. Yeah. They do a good 007 theme song to that. And you can kind of tell like it's the same like instruments, but they're all all black. And even it's so tight.
Yeah.
It's like painted on tight. And they look so funny. It was making me laugh watching them in these costumes. And
I'm pretty sure they play the sound effects like every time they're moving. It's just like the leather squeaking.
Oh, yeah. So they get there, of course, and they have a plan of lowering down a phone, and they're like, "Oh, whatever, blah blah blah." It's funny because Kiyoshi's very gentleman-like.
Yeah, he is. Like he's like he doesn't really want to peep, but he's along with it.
Well, see,
like he's going along with the peep show.
Yeah,
but then
he finds out that his crush is in that class, but then he's like, "Oh, she's not gonna be there. Let's peep." Like yeah. So I was kind of like, "Come on, Kiyoshi, you're better than that." And they drop the phone, and they're just like, they said, "Oh, well, I guess we gotta go, guys."
Yeah. Like they're lowering it from the cable down, and then like the phone snaps and just falls in, and everyone's like, "All right, yeah, well, we tried." And then Kiyoshi's like, "Wait, that was my phone."
Yeah, let's go get his phone.
Yeah.
So he goes, and it's even funnier because they hear him getting caught. Like he's like getting undressed in front of them
Mhm.
on the phone because he's in the restroom or in the shower, and and while he's getting dressed, he's getting undressed in front of Shio, and Shio's like, Shio says, "Are you?" Hey, like she can't see him because she don't have her contacts,
Yeah.
and but you can see them walking away, like they're slowly walking away, and they hear him that now they have a chance to like see like them get naked,
Yeah.
and then they go back, and it's Kiyoshi getting naked. So get out of here, Kiyoshi! I don't want to see you get naked.
It's like him squatting over the
He's all
camera.
crying.
Yeah.
So it was so funny, and then of course it gets interrupted that the boys have been peeping, and they all been caught, and they're all put in the quad, and they're all tied up, and except Kiyoshi, who got away.
Yeah. One of the important scenes is that they're like attacked by crows before the student council shows up.
Yes.
Yeah, so it alludes to heavily in the crow aspect.
Yeah, agreed. That is really important because the crows do play a pivotal part in like Mahdi's like arc. What I really like about the art of the scene where Kiyoshi kind of gets away, and none of the boys, none of the boys rat on him.
Yeah,
we're all alone. Blah blah. Where's the other one?
They're like literally about to be burned at the stake. Like that's the imagery they're given. Like they're tied up at the stake.
Yeah, it was just us. Kiyoshi had nothing to do with this, right? And while she's saying that, like, what's gonna happen to them? Oh, they got caught by one of the girls is explaining to Kiyoshi like they got caught by the underground student council, and like she gives him a pamphlet and he's reading like we got Miko, Hana, and they're like, who's the leader? Oh, you must have skipped a page. And he turns the page and it's Mahdi. And and Mahdi's there, like, and you see that she's there the whole time. Yeah, and then they, of course, they get him for that.
Yeah, I like that scene.
Now, this episode isn't in here.
No, it doesn't. It actually seems like it should be the logical conclusion, but
yes, agreed. Yeah. It does not end here. There's more to come, which really leads into this kind of next scene. So we get they're all kind of lined up. They explain the rules of the prison school. They're getting beat to death over and over again. They have this is one of the memes they have in here. Is the scene is where Andre gets spit on.
Yeah.
So Andre jumps over Joe and he's like protecting him, like leave him alone. And like she's like lick my boots, and he's trying to lick her boots, and then she spits on him, and he's trying to lick the spit.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's whenever Kiyoshi grabs her on the shoulder and says, "That's enough." They had enough, and then they go back to the prison, and Andre goes, "Kiyoshi," he's like, "Yeah, what's up, bud? Don't ever talk to me ever again."
Yeah. He's like, you prevented me from like ecstasy.
I almost licked your boots. You ruined it. And it made me laugh so hard when he said that. That's whenever I was snapping you about that. It's because like he's so mad about it.
Yeah.
And then that's when we kind of get introduced to a new character that it's Hana. And they're like, Hana will be watching you today. She'll be in charge of your work detail. She's like, hey guys, and very cute, very nice. And they're like, oh, she's wearing board shorts. And then she turns out she's the number one like karate, like she's martial artist in the area.
I love how they each had like their own way of punishment, and I think Hana's was really good. I like the way she did it.
She was just such a badass. It was like fight scenes from like Mushoku, not Mushoku, like from Jujutsu Kaisen and shit like that. Yeah. It's like very shonen fight style, and she's just whooping ass. She's all right. I need you guys to find a 4-leaf clover, and they all go, of course, go looking for it. And this is where this conclusion ends. And I think this is a really good way to end the episode 1. Is Kiyoshi's fine looking for a 4-leaf clover.
Yeah.
And
there's also like a scene where like he sees Chiyo like and talks to her on a tree, and this is what sets it up.
Yeah, well, he's like rescuing a baby crow.
Yeah, baby crow. Yeah.
And that's why he climbed up the tree in the first place.
Okay.
And that's when she goes, I knew it. I knew a man couldn't be a man that loves sumo wrestler was a peeper or something like that.
Yeah. It says someone who loves sumo wrestling can't be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like I knew it.
Yeah, and then we get into this last scene. I'll let you explain it. I'm a Christian.
So yeah, he's like up on top of this tree, right? And he sees like Hana, the overseer, walking over, and she's like, is she looking for him?
No, she has to pee.
Oh, you're right. Okay, she has to pee. I thought she might have been looking for him. It was like, well, I can't find him, so. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So she decides she has to pee.
Yep.
And this guy, Kiyoshi, is witnessing it all, and he falls off the tree branch.
He falls off the tree branch and lands like right there, like face full of piss ass and all. And this is also one of the reasons I like this ends the episode.
Yeah.
They end up like he picks her up, like what happened? Nothing, and they never talk about it.
Yeah.
They never bring it up to anyone else.
I actually really like that this is like one of the most pivotal plot points of the entire anime. Like it really all hinges on this. A lot of the fucking plot progression.
Right. Yeah. A lot of it really depends on this whole getting caught peeing because it's in a multiple episodes throughout.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And that's how episode 1 ends, which was, if you're watching episode 1 and you don't want to continue, it's not like, oh, maybe it'll be good. No, if you really like that episode 1, then it's gonna be great the rest.
Yeah.
Sorry, Charles. It's gonna be great the rest of the anime. If you're like that's too much, then you probably should have stopped it there. Yeah.
Although I think if you watch to the end of episode 1, you probably know what you're in for. So
if you've already, if you sat through all that, you definitely know what you're into.
Mm-hmm.
The next one's called The Man Who Viewed Too Much. Hana is embarrassed when Kiyoshi sees her in a compromising position. Kiyoshi becomes desperate to keep his date with Shio and searches for a way to get out of the prison. Gakuto has plans of his own, which is really funny because we have a lot of elements here. So the main element though is that obviously Kiyoshi saw Hana peeing.
Yeah, that's the main element going on.
Yeah, and he doesn't tell anyone.
Yeah, he keeps it to himself.
He does not tell anyone about this incident that happened with him and Hana, which everyone's like later on it does play more of a pivotal role.
Yeah,
we're like, why are you and Hana? And he never once tells anyone.
Yeah.
So they go ahead and do that, but we do establish that there's a date that they want to go watch sumo together.
Yeah, Chiyo and Kiyoshi.
Yeah, they want to go and watch a sumo match together, and that's what their whole goal is working toward.
I forget how he gets out. He gets like hours for good behavior, although I don't know what he does.
Well, they're separating the workload, and he keeps trying to get out through this hole.
Oh,
he's working on this hole, and he keeps finding ways to work on this hole.
Okay, yeah.
And while he's doing this, we get a good scene with Hana. Hana is like, "What are you doing over here?" He's all, "Nothing, just throwing away rubble, whatever."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Hey, you saw me peeing.
Yeah.
Now I have to watch you pee." And we get into that scene. And of course, Gakuto ruins it for them, and he started getting kind of suspicious about them and about Kiyoshi, Kiyoshi, what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And we get a little bit about him and elements of him. And Gakuto is probably he's definitely one of my favorite characters, second favorite next to Hana, because he plays such a role of he is needed for this anime.
Yes,
some of the other characters can be taken out.
Yeah,
would be sad, but they can, but not him. So we get a nice scene with him and him explaining a way to get out and things like that. And really, it's just them planning on how to get out. Nothing too much. You got anything else on that? I don't want to keep diving deep in there.
Nah.
Yeah, episode 2 is really just about them planning and talking about it. Charles, will you sit down?
Yeah, the only thing that you might have missed was that their inspiration to dig was ants.
The what?
They're looking at ants and they see ants digging, and that's what made them want to dig in episode 2.
Oh,
to
yeah,
that's what
which I have I don't know what scene it is. Maybe it's the next episode. But Miyoku's saying, "All right, I got requests for you guys." This is all. She goes ant farm. Yes, you can have that. And he's reading this list of MP3 player. No, rejected. She's reading, but it made me laugh because out of all the things that they need, she says yes to the ant farm for Joe.
Yeah,
and I thought that was so funny. She was all ant farm. That's mine. I'll get you an ant farm.
Yeah, I forget which episode it is. I'm sure I wrote about it.
Well, it's coming up because they're really working on toward making this plan, and Gakuto already has a plan. He already has a plan, and he's that MP3 player, which is what really is. That's kind of how that works there. But you get a good dynamic between Hana and Kiyoshi.
Yeah, for sure.
She keeps trying to get him alone to watch him pee, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
it's hilarious because it's feeding on this puberty, jealousy, I'm kind of I'm into it, I'm not into it, this give and take between them two characters. I would have watched this anime if you removed everything and it was every episode was just Hana and Kiyoshi in awkward situations.
Yeah. One of the main things you missed on episode 2 was that Kiyoshi pees on Hana at the very end. I forget, she's trying to force him to pee, and he I don't know what happens. Like someone walks in, like stumble over, he like pees on
Yeah, so
her.
you're right. I did miss on that. That is pivotal. Yeah, the scene is that he's been holding his pee in for a while, and he's like, I
Yeah.
don't have to go. I don't have to go. But Gakuto goes, Kiyoshi really has to use the restroom. And she was like, I'll take him. And he's like, why'd you say that, Gakuto? You know, and she takes him to the restroom.
Mhm.
And like, that's whenever they're fighting over this. And he's like, I can't hold it anymore. And he ends up peeing on
Yeah.
her. And then she yells. And that's kind of like that's really episode 2 in a nutshell,
Yeah.
which was called The Man Who Viewed Too Much, which is really funny because it's about
Yeah.
Kiyoshi seeing too much, which is that if again, that's a lot. That's a lot of like fan service for episode 1 and 2.
Yeah. It delves heavily into like the fetishes, I believe.
Yeah. So episode 3 is called The Mighty Spurt, which I like. There's a funny scene here where I want to bring up. With Miyaku's attention divided between two groups, Kiyoshi is able to widen the escape hole enough to let him through in time for the date. An already suspicious Shingo gets an eyeful of more than he bargained for. So I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So they've been digging this hole and for a while, and I like that there's a scene where Gakuto and Kiyoshi are talking and they practice their acting. They're acting, and he's like, oh no, I'll do it. You know, they're like really just like forcing this like shitty acting.
Yeah.
And I really thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
But they're basically trying to widen this hole, and Gakuto has his own plans here. This is why I like Gakuto. Like, yeah, he's pursuing girls and whatnot, but like he has like simple interests.
Yeah.
He's like he wants to get like a limited edition action figure.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he wants. Like it's not like anything like devilish or deviant.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's not who his character is.
Yeah.
So I really did enjoy that aspect. But what Shingo's seeing, he's seeing that Gakuto and Kiyoshi are working really close to each other.
Yeah.
And he basically walks in them on the shower like he thinks they're gay.
Yeah. He starts to suspect they're gay, and then thinks that they're trying to set him up for a threesome, and then there's these shower scenes. Like it's like Gakuto like dropping the soap, or
Oh yeah.
and fucking like he's like, oh, don't worry for that, I got you. And it's like his face in front of the other dude from like Shingo's like point of view, like he's like peeping around.
He was like doing them doggy.
Yeah.
I think Kiyoshi is the one that like dropped the soap because they always mention it like they're like Kiyoshi can't even hold that in.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is Gakuto because they mentioned about the fart later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so it's funny because it plays on that for a while, and they really go after that for good. Like that, they could have done like 3 or 4 more episodes of Shingo thinking they're just like a couple.
Yeah.
And really,
sure.
they're like, come on, join us. Like they just don't want him to be suspicious of what they're actually doing, which is to get Kiyoshi to escape, which I think is so funny that they keep spilling on that. We get a little more about Miyako, like her like relationship with the head council,
The chairman.
Yeah, the chairman. Well,
So the relationship is that the chairman, like the head of the university,
Yeah.
basically, right? The president of the student council is his daughter,
yes.
right?
There's multiple scenes with him, with him in pornography.
Yeah, it's actually the beginning of the episode is that the chairman's like trying to bury like a bunch of booty photos. Like and when I say booty photos, like literally like ass pics. Like
It's just
got,
ass
he's
pics.
got like a treasure trove, and he's gonna bury it, so he doesn't have to be tempted by it anymore. And fucking like Kiyoshi sees it.
It's
like,
not just any aspects; they're Latin, they're Latino aspects.
But it's fucking hilarious because he's like going through and like naming them. He's like Latiana, Tiffyana, like, just throwing them like it's literally a picture of their ass. He's just like we're counting.
He bears like a creep. Yo, he was making me laugh so hard because he kept getting caught by his daughter. Like, it makes me think about my dad. Like, I've never caught my dad with Latino ass porn, but also he has a mouse pad.
Yeah, the mouse pad plays a pivotal
It
moment.
comes. I'll bring it up later.
It's like trying to hide it. It's got this whole thing. The mouse pad presents itself like I want to say in
A
this.
couple episodes later.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about
No,
that.
his character is really funny. I also really like the chairman's like the way he does his voice acting because like he always says something and I don't know if it's like an inner monologue or he's actually saying it out loud where he's like I don't know if I can trust them. I can't. And
Oh, like an inner monologue.
Yeah. Like they were
Yeah.
doing something like that. Every time he spoke, they always had like a half second pause and he'd say like a one liner.
He was like, "That's my daughter.
Yeah.
I need to be honorable and take this and fight it." Yeah. So really, that was really the big scenes. Is that Shingo really thinks that Kiyoshi and Gakuto are like in a relationship, and they have a lot of funny jokes on that.
Yeah.
And one thing we didn't touch on, and see, this is where like the supporting characters kind of lose, like, you lose interest on them. They're really not doing much. Shingo is the only one, but Andre and Joe are kind of in the background.
Yeah, they're in the background.
Yeah. So that to me, again, that's why I'm always saying that they're underutilized. Yeah. You got anything on episode 3 you want to?
No, basically they decide that in order for Kiyoshi to escape, he has to dress up as a girl.
Oh, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
In order to like pull that off, there's this pretty ridiculous scene where like Gakuto, like I forget what epiphany he realizes he needs. Oh, he needs like an extreme punishment, right?
Yeah.
So to what's gonna happen in the next episode, but he decides that like he's trying to like goad the vice president to like beat him up, right? And then he sees the president, and he decides the best way for him to like get beat up by her is to go and pull her skirt down. And so he does like this whole sequence where like the vice president's in between like Gakuto and the president,
Yeah.
and he's like doing this whole thing where he like jumps, but he like actually like somersault backwards and like lands perfectly right, and then pulls down the president's skirt.
And like she's wearing like leggings, so you don't get much. But
Yeah.
that scene's so funny because like the music that's playing on it. But yeah, I honestly, he does that little somersault and he like dodges the vice president's
Yeah.
like punishment.
Yeah.
And then again, we get more about the vice president where she's just like Miyoku's like, I'm so sorry, you're gonna pay, and that's when they cut his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's basically the beginning of 4.
Yeah.
Episode 4 is actually called "Take Me Out to the Sumo Land."
Yeah, great. Yeah, it was a great title for that because they are working on the plan to get into the sumo match.
Yeah.
Like this is 3 episodes deep of them just trying to get Kiyoshi into like be with Shio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The beginning of this episode is where they shave Gakuto's head.
Oh, okay.
Actually, did you notice it? They're alluding to be like a, like a.
Oh yeah, like a dildo scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
they were
want
censoring it and it's like
Yeah.
vibrating, but it was
Yeah.
actually just hair clippers.
Which I didn't even catch that. I thought it was actually dildo.
Yeah.
I didn't
No,
know
it's the
that.
hair clippers.
Yeah, it was the hair clippers. I did not catch that. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, that was a fucking cool scene.
So, after committing a heinous offense against Mari, Gakuto receives a drastic punishment from Meiko. Kiyoshi and Gakuto work desperately to break Kiyoshi out of the prison by having him impersonate a girl, which was great.
Yeah.
Great plan. Like very again, the writers that did such a great job on that plan. Like the
Yeah.
way they did it, they did such a good job where they they had him dressed as a girl and they had him like they got Gakuto, of course, because he doesn't even tell him.
Yeah.
He's like, here's my hair. He's like, ew, get away from me. I don't want your hair. He's all cheek it. Yeah, so
Yeah, so Gakuto like sacrifices himself so that no.
we're forgetting an important scene.
What's that?
I think that was in episode 3. We forgot about it. The greatest sacrifice in anime. So they need Kiyoshi has been hinting that he has stomach problems and that he needs to use the restroom. So Gakuto has a plan to make a MP3 file of the sound of what it sounds like when you use the restroom. So when they go to the computer lab, Gakuto tries to find an MP3 song about, destroying a toilet. But he doesn't find it. And he tells Kiyoshi that this MP3 player also works as a mic. And we get the greatest sacrifice ever. Because Gakuto shoves the mic in his ass.
Yeah.
and just lets it rip, like just shits his pants.
Yeah, just on spot.
On the spot, shits his pants, and then. But the funny scenes is like the close-ups on them. They're like, "You ruined your career. You're ruined. You'll never get with a girl." And he's all, 4 years is worth it. I'll take it.
And that's just how long it would take him to order the special edition,
Yeah,
figurine that he wants. Yeah.
So he ends up doing that, and I think it's in episode 3, but episode 4, yeah. So he is, because I remember him with long hair. I wish he'd stay with long hair. I liked his long hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene made me laugh so hard because it was just like him letting it rip.
Yeah, the main plot point in the previous episode is that Cho figures out that Kiyoshi like stole not only a uniform but her uniform,
Which was it was serendipitous, you know. It wasn't. It didn't. He didn't mean to get that uniform.
Yeah.
It was just like coincidental that he did do that. Which brings, so he does go on the date.
Yeah.
He goes. It's a great.
The
date.
date's going good. Yeah.
The date's going great. They're having a good time, and then she uses the restroom, and sure enough, he doesn't. She looks through his bag. I forgot why.
She spills like honey on it, and she's like trying to clean it.
And she finds her uniform in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
We also get a good scene with Mari and Kiyoshi as a girl, where she actually has like a lot of respect and a lot of like for females.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, "I'm so sorry. I grabbed your bag. I didn't realize because your shirt was ripped.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I apologize." Like 100 times. Like she's very respectful to women, but just not men. She hates men apparently.
Yeah.
And you're right. That scene with him and Shio, where he sees the scene and she ends up running out, and now it's really like him like hurt. He knows what's going on, so he has to go run back to prison and go back on the toilet where he's supposed to be shitting his guts out.
Yeah. And he barely manages it, from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think it ends actually with her, with Miyako coming up to like move out of the way.
Yeah, she's about to kick down the door.
Yeah, she's about to kick down the door with with an axle kick.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends.
Yeah.
But which is really funny because this whole time, like Miyako has been like, she's been like, he's in the restroom. She's like, Kiyoshi, get out of the restroom. And he's just like letting his shit go. Oh, you answered me with a fart? How disrespectful.
Yeah.
It made me laugh so fucking hard. Anyway, so he kicks the door down. Now we're on episode 5. And yeah, he was there.
Yeah, Kiyoshi's actually sitting there crying in the toilet.
Yeah.
Because his day went bad with Chio.
Yeah.
Like he's literally just bawling his eyes out.
Yeah, he's hurt. I mean, there's all this for Chio, and you know, it all went bad because she found the uniform. So this one is called "The School is Number One Most Treacherous Man." Yeah. After Kiyoshi escapes for his date with Shio gets discovered, he almost gets expelled, but Shio comes to his rescue. After returning to the cell, the other boys shun Kiyoshi for the extra prison time they were given for the escape. So he does get caught. You know how he got caught, right?
Remind me.
She took a picture of them.
Oh yeah.
And this is where we get to find out the deep dark secret.
Yeah.
That the sister,
the vice president of this underground student council,
is actually Shio's older sister.
Yeah. And not only that,
yeah,
but the chairman's the father.
we knew the chairman was the father already of Mari, but we didn't know the chairman of
both of them.
Yeah, so now we know like it's all kind of commingling. So she feels violated. He had my uniform. He was a creep. He was a pervert. You know, and she's just like feeling violated. And Mari, of course, like dives in that.
Yeah.
Like she's like diving, like these boys need to be expelled, and they give him extra prison time, and that's when they start getting shunned.
Yeah, that's where like Shion actually figures out that Kiyoshi. Yeah, that's when he realizes that he's been like going on dates with like a secret girl, like while they're all suffering in his point of view, and so he basically decides to like form a clique and just shun Kiyoshi. Which
upsets me, dude. Like Shingo's an asshole. He was an asshole for this, and I really started hating him. And actually, he has a redemption arc later, and I'll like him again. But yeah, so he's like shunning Kiyoshi away from all this. They don't talk to us, and he basically even convinces Gakuto to like shun him as well.
Yeah, like Kiyoshi's best friend.
Yeah, they went to middle school together as well. So like they don't really understand like why they're shunning him.
Yeah.
But he did give them extra time.
Yeah.
Which is very upsetting. I really didn't like that they did that because it's for love, and I love love, but they did multiple times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there anything else in this episode that happens?
Yeah. So like, Chiyo's kind of like thinking about the after effects of what happened, of like blaming Kiyoshi for stealing her jacket and stuff, and then basically she just decides to forgive him. That maybe it was a misunderstanding, right? And so Chiyo actually ends up defending Kiyoshi from her sister. Like I think like she figures out they're going to be expelled.
Yeah. Well, she finds out that
Yeah, she's like arguing with her sister. Like yeah, she figures out that they're going to be expelled because they got the they brought it up to the council member.
yeah,
Um.
it ends up getting stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ends up getting stopped. But Shio, actually, this is why I really like Shio, is that she was like, she's been crying for days. And she actually goes out and goes, "You're happy now." She's like, I didn't even ask Kiyoshi why he had my uniform. It could have been something so innocent.
Yes,
I need to give him a chance. And they're like, "Oh, too late. They're getting expelled." And that's when she goes up and like goes and stomps and tells, like, "Hey, like, you don't do this."
I think Chiyo even says she'll sign the form to get expelled herself.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. Yeah. Like she actually puts her name on there, and they said you can't expel her. Like you have to expel me too. And like really, it just showed that she was like one of the better characters in this whole thing.
There's actually one of the scenes that I liked here, and they didn't expand on it more, and I was really disappointed. Who's the vice president or not the president?
Madi.
Well, Madi actually says in the argument between her little sister, she realizes that Kiyoshi like helped like one of her crows, and she says, anyone who likes crows can't possibly be a bad person.
You're right. They did not expand on that.
Yeah, they didn't.
Which would have been, I think that'd be more of a season 2 thing.
Yeah.
If they did, but they didn't. But yeah, that to me that was a good scene because
Yeah.
she didn't know that. She thought that Kiyoshi is just like every other man.
Yeah.
But he's just out here helping crows.
Mhm.
But also it ties in that maybe Chiyo is part of like has like a crow thing too.
Yeah, it does.
Which we don't really know much.
Yeah. Basically, this episode ends though with the DTO operations, which is like destroy testicles operation.
Yeah.
Which they kept throwing jokes at that because it was like the DTO operation.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a recurring theme,
Yeah.
the DTO. Yeah. And it kind of ends in this next. Well, that's kind of the end of episode 5.
Yeah.
We're on episode 6. So
Hana's in the restroom. I think she's trying to convince what's his name to piss on her again.
yeah. Well, there's a lot that goes into this one.
Yeah.
So this is known as Vengeance is Hana.
Vengeance
Episode
is Hana.
6.
Yeah.
Madi introduces the DTO plan to Hana, and they begin to plotting ways to drive the boys out of school. Shingo leads the other boys in shunning Kiyoshi, but Miyako has a plan to drive an even deeper wedge between them. This is where it gets a little bit extra. So yes, there is a lot of scenes with Hana and Kiyoshi here, but the reason that there's scenes for that is what happens to him, right? This is what pisses me off. So Joe.
All right.
Joe loves his ants.
Yeah.
Loves his ants to death.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, they're trying to separate the guys from each other. So this whole shunning. So they end up. So Miyako pulls Shingo away from the group, and she's like, I need you to run errands. You can go off campus.
Yeah.
And like you can do this. I'm gonna feed you this good food. You can just give me information.
I'm gonna let you go see the girl you want to see.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't even meet Anzo yet. Yeah. That's the next episode. But you're right. He's like getting like special treatment, and all she wants is like dirt. And I think she even mentions like, oh, Joe and his ants.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we get a kind of a pivotal scene as well, is where Joe loves these ants so much, and then makes me laugh because Andre goes, "Joe, let's play tag." And they go running playing tag.
Yeah.
And while they're playing tag, the crows start diving into the ants.
Yeah.
And basically like killing him. And he's like really upset about it. So he ends up like lashing out, and he ends up actually trying to attack the president.
Yeah.
With like a stake.
Yeah, because her crows were attacking the ant pile.
And who jumps in front of it?
Kiyoshi does. You know what's fucking funny about that season or that scene? he jumps in front of him, and of course, Joe like shoves like a stick up his ass, but fucking Kageyoshi says medic, like just says,
He says medic.
yeah, it says medic.
There's a scene in there where he goes, "It probably went really easy after Gakuto." Like he said some shit like that too.
Yeah.
Again, all the lines that were the background lines are so funny. He ends up getting stabbed, and this is what makes Kiyoshi such a great character. He gets stabbed in the ass by Joe, and they're like, "Joe attacked the president." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. We were just horse playing around. This was a total accident.
Mm-hmm.
We do this all the time." Like he didn't attack them, and basically like giving Joe an out.
Yeah, Kiyoshi saves him. Yeah.
So he's been getting shunned for a while, and he still does this act of like being a hero by jumping in front of the stake, like basically protecting Joe from being expelled or even worse, going to prison for stabbing the president. And of course, who takes him to the medic?
Hana,
which is one of my favorite scenes.
This is honestly like one of the best dynamics of the entire anime.
Agreed. Yeah, this great scene. He needs a medic for the stake in his ass, and he's just
Hana takes him to the nurse.
Yeah. He's like butt ass naked, sitting down. Like, he's wearing a shirt. And he's like naked, and he's like pampering his ass from the stake. Yeah. And he's like, "Give me some privacy." She stands over him, takes off her panties, and goes, "You peed on me. Now I have to pee on you."
Yeah, and I'm gonna take a picture while I do it.
Yeah, but of course, Shio like assumes that they're going to the nurse's office and follows them there looking for them.
Yeah.
She's like, "Anybody here?" She opens the curtain and nobody's there. Hana and Kiyoshi are on the bed. Yeah. Both pantless, by the way. Yeah. Because he's pantless because he was trying to like heal his wound.
He was gonna pee.
Yeah, and she's pantless because she was gonna pee on him. Yeah. Well, he was just healing his wound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's laying on the bed, like laying under the bed, under like the gurney next to her, and I forget what he sees.
They're just like really close, like
really close. Yeah. He's breathing on her.
Kiyoshi and Hana are like inches away, like looking at each other.
Oh my god! So of course he gets all bricked up.
Bricked up. Yeah, I thought it was fucking funny whenever they kept using the Medusa and Stone.
Oh yeah, he gets joke. So he gets a little stiffy, and of course it goes between her thighs, and it's so good that she passes out and he leaves.
Yeah, she gets like a memory block from this too.
Yeah. So it's so funny because like it's like such teenage angst between them two, and again this is why Hana and Kiyoshi work good together because like they're both dealing with the same devious behavior one another. Even though Hana's like contributing it by like oh, you did this to me, I'm doing it to
she's the one egging it on.
Yeah, but like he already did it though.
Yeah.
Technically, he's done more of the sexual acts on her.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to dive into that, but that's kind of where it ends, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got anything else on that episode?
No, it's mostly the rest of the episode just involves the dynamic between like everyone shunning Koyashi.
Yeah, which is funny because like he obviously protected Joe, and that played in his favor.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is Miyako's Delicious Restaurant. Shingo on furlough from the president meets a girl named Anzo at the arcade in town. When Gakuto turns to his Guanyo figurine for guidance, the tip of his sword falls off, starting a chain of events with momentous consequences.
That's actually it makes the episode sound more important than it was.
I mean, it did dive into a lot of there's a lot of things that happen here. We get introduced to Anzo, so Shingo gets to get furlough, gets to walk around, goes to an arcade, and he's playing like a version of Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And we get a nice little clip of him getting beat, and it's by a girl named Anzo.
Yeah.
And we find out that Anzo, that Anzo like has an interest in him.
What's happening right now is that the vice president's manipulating him.
Yeah.
So he can like she's letting him like go out. I think she's like feeding him food too.
Yeah, delicious food.
Yeah, and so they're setting this like all in exchange for information on the group. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. But one of the things they do is they bring in these like fancy. So while searching like the restroom for clues, she ends up finding like a little sword.
Yeah.
From the figurine that Gakuto has, and she has this figurine, and she ends up like putting it. It falls in the bowl of like peanuts
Yeah, it
that
falls in like
chili flake, whatever it is
yeah,
that Shingo brought from the store, and they're all sharing this snack. And the president grabs it and puts it in her mouth and chews on it. It's like, oh, what is this?
yeah,
It's a sword, and she's holding her tongue because she found it in the restroom.
yeah.
She doesn't want to let the she doesn't want to let the president know that I found that in the on the
On
toilet,
the bottom of
like on the floor of the restroom. So she goes, "Oh, I found that," and which ends up diving in even deeper. They find out more about that sword.
yeah.
But what do you think about Shingo and Anzo?
I actually liked it. I thought it was interesting that they chose that like she's got tickets to the Grapes of Wrath, and so that's what they're gonna go see.
Yeah, and also the paintings they have. It's like grapes attacking
Yeah,
like aliens.
yeah, yeah. It was kind of a funny joke. But yeah, so essentially they set up like another date to go watch a movie. I don't know if they've set up where like he doesn't know how to communicate with her yet.
Like with
Right.
Kiyoshi and
Oh,
Shio
actually, I think I'm
with the
skipping ahead.
rice.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm skipping ahead.
Yeah, I think you might be skipping a little bit. We actually get from this scene though that Gakuto is actually a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
Gakuto allows them to like, whose sword is this? Somebody that loves this.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
Gakuto's like, I don't know whose sword that is. And I forgot what he does, but like he's basically like, oh, Miyako is like sitting on the action figure,
Yeah.
like riding it.
Yeah,
And we
she-
get this close up of her ass, just pounding this like horse.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was laughing so hard because she's like sitting on this,
Yeah.
like it's way over. She's like huge, like it's like the whole screen is her ass with this little ass horse and like guy.
And Gakuto wasn't having it.
Yeah,
He's
he said like, I don't care. Like I don't know if he broke it or what.
he saves it himself, right? Like he like dives in there and like takes it out himself, but then he destroys it himself. Like he is like, I won't let my most beloved figure be destroyed like this. Like I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, he takes like a weird moral high ground.
Yeah, and and that really showed that he cared more. That he was caring about the group. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the episode just ends with Andre having like a slave diary. Like he's just
Oh, yeah, because the next episode is called "The Diary of Andre,"
yeah.
which Andre episode 8 is called "The Diary of Andre." Andre suffers a mental collapse when he goes for a week without receiving discipline. Shingo takes Anzo to the movies, but finds the expectations betrayed. The underground student council moves forward with their DTO project. So,
Yeah.
yeah, which is throughout the anime, we see plans for them to escape. Then we look at the from the boys. Then we look at the underground student council plans for them to like keep them in or expel them, and then we get back to the boys having plans, and they kind of go commingle. So
Yeah.
like the first quarter is the boys, second quarter is the girls, then the third quarter is like them both commingling. The fourth quarter is like the boys like the girls winning,
Yeah.
then the boys winning.
Yeah. This is one of the episodes that I kind of didn't like. Remember, I think I was telling you in my review that like I actually didn't really like that they were like over entertaining this idea of like Andre being like the sycophant for like punishment. Of course, the vice president gives him punishment. Like for them to turn it into an entire plot point, like seems like a waste of an episode. Like this is where I thought like the show starts bogging down. It's basically like Andre's writing a journal about how he longs for punishment. He wants to get spit on, he wants to get stepped on, he wants to slapped around. And they find it because of Shingo snitching.
Yeah.
And so they concoct this entire plan. And this is all I'm saying. Like the entire episode hinged on this idea.
Yeah. There's something else that happens. They find out that the sword was found in the restroom.
Yeah.
So they actually punish Miyako.
Yeah. Okay, because she was hiding information.
Yeah, she was hiding information about finding the sword in the toilet or the restroom. And they make her wear like a closed top.
Yeah, they make her wear clothes now.
They make her wear like her breasts are no longer showing. And Andre does not like that. So he's very upset about that, and that kind of plays in this part. So it really like cultivates where like Andre is like deprived of like this discipline.
Yeah.
And what he does is that like the scene is like he messes up or something, and he like come outside for your punishment, and she is sitting there, and her breasts just pop out, and he like is like runs after her, like a zombie fighting through
Yeah.
this like through
Yeah.
this like iron like the chain link fence,
Yeah.
or it's a what's it called,
It was
barbed wire.
it was barbed wire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
barbed wire. He's like fighting through it, and of course somebody snipped it, so he falls through, and because of that, they use that as a form of they've escaped.
Yeah. So the entire plot is that they're gonna uh
Get him expelled.
get them all expelled because they're gonna have multiple breakout entries, and this is it. So they rig it. Andre can't help himself but running through a fence after being like depraved of his punishment to the vice president,
Yeah.
and so he falls through. That's like strike number one. So then it gets into the second part where Shingo has been going on these dates. Like at this point in the story, he's like watching the movie Grapes of Wrath,
Yeah.
right? And Anzo,
Yeah. Anzo.
yeah, she's kind of falling for him.
Yeah.
She realizes he's not the worst dude. I can't remember what he does because they do that whole thing. Someone who like helps kids isn't all that bad. Or I don't know what she sees, and she like has a
They're like
change of
throwing
heart.
rocks at this kid.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
like stops it, but then the kid throws a rock at him.
Yeah, yeah. He basically like stops people from bullying,
Yeah.
and so it kind of just plays in this whole idea of like
Shingo.
Shingo's like stops these little kids from bullying.
Yeah. And then the one that's getting bullied throws rocks at him. And then that's whenever they realize that Anzo's like, he's not so bad. And then she starts breaking down, saying like,
Yeah.
you were a good guy, and the underground council like tricked me. I want to be part of them soon. I can't, but like I can't do this anymore. They're planning, and that's whenever they have the second breakout. They need one more. So the first one was
Andre
well, no, the first one was Kiyoshi.
Kiyoshi.
The
Okay,
second
yeah,
one was Andre,
yeah.
because of that whole like depraved of sex punishment. The third they're waiting on is Shingo. He ends up running back and making it just as time, but he does not. They lock the fence.
Yeah. Well, Anzo barely even makes it or Shingo barely makes it because Anzo tells him like, I set your watch back 30 minutes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he like sprints back, and then he basically fails to make it.
Yeah, he fails to make it, and of course they're up for expulsion now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's where that one ends. The next one's called "Full of the Bodily Fluids." Shingo realizes that he saw an email regarding DTO on the computer in the corrections office, which if recovered by the boys, would prove that they were set up the boys' plot to break into the corrections office. So we get now they're getting expelled.
Yeah.
They are now getting officially expelled.
Yeah. Because of 3 break-ins.
Because of 3 breakouts. Break-ins, breakouts.
Yeah.
They're getting expelled, and we get kind of an understanding like where the chairman is now playing a more pivotal role.
Yeah.
Because like they know of him.
Mm-hmm.
They know what he's trying to do. I don't know if it's an episode where they talk about Aspens or not.
No, it's next episode.
Later. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's trying to expel them, and basically they're having this thought about like who can be expelled, and Shio's like hopping in like you can't expel them, them, and yeah, they're just having like they're really just like fucked at this point. But they remember this DTO plan, destroy testicle operation, right?
Destroy testicle operation.
And they know if they find it, they can actually alleviate.
Mm-hmm.
So really, that's all the episode is about.
They'll basically prove it all wrong.
Yeah, I don't have anything else, notes or anything on that episode. That's about it, really. They're just trying to like find this DTO.
Yeah. The episode was mainly like this kind of like super sleuth operation where like they were going to convince the vice president to arm wrestle them.
That's happening right now?
Yes, episode 9, yeah.
They're arm wrestling?
Yeah, they're arm wrestling.
Okay, we gotta talk about this. My bad. I thought it was the next episode. So they basically make this play where Andre is the strongest.
Yeah.
And they're like, Andre is the strongest. Nobody can beat him. No girl can beat him.
Yeah.
And Miyeko's there like, move, maggot, I can beat him.
Yeah.
And she basically comes in there, and of course everyone challenges her.
Mm-hmm.
It starts off with I think Gakuto, who gets beat like in a second.
Yeah, dude, I actually really like the animation. Like for what it was, like the animation of the arm wrestling scenes, like they're all like top notch. Like they're all like I'm gonna give it my all. And they're like getting their arms broken in half. Like I only saved not even a minute. Like
it's such a funny scene because it starts with Gakuto getting beat. Then it goes into Kiyoshi getting beat, and then Kiyoshi was like, "Somebody move the table." So they do it again, and then like Kiyoshi is like, "I'm gonna make this go long, a whole minute. We need 7 minutes exactly." While he's doing this, like it like cuts back to him, and his arm's broken. Like, oh, wouldn't I lose? He was like a minute ago. Dang it! And then that's when Joe rips off his shirt.
Yeah, dude. I was gonna say, I thought it was funny that they're all like trying to make a big scene, like they're all taking off their shirts, so they all seem like I've been worked by. Like Gakuto's like I've been doing prison labor for the past month, and he's like super insanely ripped. But
not Joe.
Yeah, not Joe.
He was so like he hasn't eaten in days.
Yeah, he's like anorexic, like has no muscle.
So he rips off his shirt. And of course he loses, and then we get finally Andre. Andre comes up to the bat to like arm wrestle.
Yeah,
he's kind of big, like he's built.
Yeah, he's the linchpin.
Yeah, he's a what?
The linchpin, like he's the last stop between them, like
he needs like put a fight.
Yeah,
and he has an ace in the hole.
It's an interesting ace in the hole.
Really interesting. He has one hair on his chest.
Yeah.
And Miyako cannot get over it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it plays on the hormones of Miyako. Like, she's horny for this.
Yeah.
Like, she's, like, into this. Like, if this anime ended where Kiyoshi and Hana were together and Miyako and Andre together and Mari and Gakuto were together.
Oh, okay, I can see that.
I would be okay. This would be great. But anyways, so she can't ignore this chest hair. So they're arm wrestling, and it's just, like, going back and forth. Who wins, by the way? I don't even remember.
Madi does, the vice president.
Miyako.
Miyako.
Yeah, Miyako wins, and she's like, you took my keys, and then of course Gakuto goes, you dropped this, my man.
Yeah, it was at the very end. Yeah.
Which was really good. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot all about that.
Yeah, they barely pull it off, but like, yeah. It also ends with the whole heist failing because Gakuto does not have.
He has email. A download,
and
it doesn't work out, which we get into episode 10.
Yeah,
it's a bumder life. Is episode
Bumderful life.
Life.
So I thought this episode was going to be talking about like homeless people, like bums, I guess.
Oh, I say bum like ass.
Yeah, but now it's bum like ass. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that because I didn't see the episodes.
Yeah.
The boys are resigned to their upcoming expulsions, and spirits are low until Gakuto suffers a bout of temporary insanity, devises one last strategy to get them out of their predicament if they can just buy enough time to pull it off.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I think episode 10 was the funniest episode to air. I think this one was the best. Like, and I didn't even know that it was gonna be like the titular scene, if you want to say that.
Like you thought it was going to be like a episode 10.
Yeah.
Like not like
important. It was already fucking funny, and then I saw that it had like the most iconic scene in this entire series.
All right, you got to give me. What's the iconic scene?
The iconic scene was whenever he asks him, like, "Are you an ass man?"
Are you an ass man?
Yeah.
So the chairman asked him this question.
Yeah.
It's obviously a trick.
Yeah.
He asked him this for what reason, though?
So like, the entire first half of episode 10 is like Gakuto being like mind broken. Yeah. Like his morale and spirits are so low that he's like going insane, and so he's like,
they actually display that by like their last meal.
Yeah,
everyone gets like a dope last meal, and he goes, "I want crickets."
He wants deep fried crickets on fried rice,
which is funny because Miyako was seen like catching them.
Yeah,
like she actually went out of her way.
Yeah, the vice president goes out of her way and literally catches them herself. Yeah,
amazing.
And so like it even like he's still losing his mind, and he's like eating the grasshoppers, right? Because he thinks it's his favorite last meal, and he keeps throwing up like over and over again. Yeah, and he's like. It gets like so mind broken, he realizes that he doesn't actually like the grasshoppers or some shit, and he's like thinks of like the final plan.
Yeah, he has one more plan, and after he like breaks out of that insanity, he's like, "But we need 3 days or something," and they like we have like 8 hours.
Yeah,
and then they get into this elaborate plan with Anzo and all of them, but we haven't committed to that yet. But they make a strategy to do it. But that's where episode 10 ends, right?
Yeah, basically,
yeah.
they trick the vice president into handing like the chairman like a final letter,
Yeah.
and the chairman actually like they're like going out for the like they make it look like an execution, but it's like them being expelled, and the chairman walks down and is like, "We need to have a talk."
Yeah.
Like,
So they gave a fake letter,
yeah,
to Mieko. Like, can you give us the one last the president one, and they find out that it's been ripped to shreds.
Yeah, they tricked her because the actual letter was on the back of one of the transcripts.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah, agreed. All right, let's get these last two episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is when the booty question happens.
Yeah, he asked him that, and they didn't even have that unless the letter came to him, right? So like that's when the beauty question happens. Like, are you an ass man or a booby man? Which is weird for a teacher or a person of education.
It was actually fucking funny because they had this scene where he's like on his computer and he's using that like mouse pad.
Oh, okay. Can you tell him about the mouse pad?
The mouse pad was like I don't know if you've seen those like weird degenerate mouse pads, but they could be either like tits or ass. He's got one that's an ass. You like put your wrist down on it and it gives nice support.
Apparently. Which is funny because his daughter Madi is all, why can't you get rid of that mouse pad? He's all, it helps my wrist. I need it for my wrist. Which made me laugh because he's using it in front of Egg. That's his like work mouse pad.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get this last episode. I'm gonna read both the synopsis for both of them.
All right.
Given one day reprieve, the boys must again execute a plan to get inside the corrections office, but the underground student council won't make it easy for them. Hana has a personal score that she wishes to settle with Kiyoshi. Hana continues pressing Kiyoshi in order to exact her revenge, but Kiyoshi employs an adaptation of the classical military strategy to counter her. Once all the boys are locked into their cells for the night, will they be able to complete their plan? Yes.
So obviously they will. I knew the anime was going to end on this kind of episode where they're going to get forgiven, right? But what I was really curious about was how are they going to end it? How are they going to set it up? Obviously they're going to get forgiven, and I actually really fucking liked the way they did it.
They were very clever about it. So let's jump into this plan. They've been communicating with Shio.
Shio mainly.
Yeah, and Anzo wants to help.
Mm-hmm. She realizes she actually likes
Shingo.
Shingo, yeah.
So Anzo wants to help. So Anzo gets actually like goes. So they have this plan to unlock the corrections offices for Gakuto to go in there and actually like retrieve the data for DTO.
Yeah, they're going to reenact their plan.
Yes, and there's a lot of timing that goes into this, but really, Gakuto actually begs, or he ends up getting stabbed in the head with a fork.
Oh yeah.
So they can go to the medic, and Kiyoshi takes him, and he's like, "Don't worry, Hana's gonna want to be alone with me. Hana wants to be alone with me." He's like, "What do you mean? Hana wants to be alone with me? She's gonna take us and have me stay there and be alone."
He's betting everything on it.
Yeah, and of course, Hana. Oh, you didn't even talk about Hana and Miyoko. Hana tries to stab Kiyoshi because she remembers the incident of the boner.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Miyoko like puts her to sleep, which kind of upsets me. I was kind of hoping that Miyoko and them had a good fight. I wanted a good fight with them, but anyways, she puts her to sleep. She enacts her revenge. She says she finally gets Kiyoshi alone, and she basically implies she's gonna cut off his dick.
Yeah.
But she ends up cutting like a Gatorade bottle. And like, you're gonna pee in this.
Yeah.
And she puts it on his schlong. And yeah, we get a good scene where they're like going back and forth. And honestly, let's just talk about it. This scene was super fan service.
It was so fan service, honestly, and I can't even say I hated it. I actually really liked it. It was well done.
It was great. It was so funny. We get Hana and Kiyoshi basically like romantically being invested with each other.
It's like they're in like a
rom-com.
A rom-com. I was thinking like when like Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort like shot spells at each other.
Oh
like,
yeah,
locked
yeah,
in a duel.
it was like a 1v1,
Yeah.
except with like who can like do the most disgusting shit ever. So basically, it's them. They're talking. They're being romantic. He actually like he says like I have a boner now because like seeing your Medusa.
The Medusa stone. Yeah.
And like they're like hugging, and basically like she's like I'm gonna take everything away from you. I'm gonna take your first kiss. I'm gonna take all this.
She deduces that Chio is the girl he likes, and he's like, you know what? Since you've taken everything from me, like he saw her pee, he like peed on her.
Yeah.
I forget whatever else, but she's like, you took all these things from me. I'm gonna take this from you.
So she basically like she's kissing him, but is not actually kissing him.
Yeah.
And then that's when he decides to kiss her back with tongue, and like ends up like knocking her out because it's so hot and heavy. Anyways, so yeah, that happens. They unlock the door. Gakuto gets in there, and yeah, I mean, you got anything else before I keep diving into? I'm gonna get into like about the finale.
No. Yeah, I don't know. They got it's all just weird ass fan service scenes.
Yeah.
Like Anzo getting tortured by the vice president. She's like squatting on her face.
Oh
like,
yeah.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was hilarious.
Yeah. It's a bunch of fan service scenes. Not much to the plot.
Yeah, but we get we get this final scene where they have all the people lined up. They're about to get exposed. The girls are like, how come these guys didn't do anything? Then they have one more ploy. They didn't. They have them all lined up, and they're going back and forth, and they're like pulling. They're like, these guys need exposed, and they find out that Gakuto is Joe.
Yeah, I actually like that scene.
Great twist. Yeah. They found out that Gakuto is Joe, and they're like, who is Joe? So they pull back his hoodie, and who is it?
It's fucking Chio.
It's fucking Chio. And now, where the fuck is Gakuto at?
He was getting all the data the whole time.
He was like getting the data for the DTO, recovering the emails. And the funny scene about him is that like they give a POV of him like in the wood. Like,
yeah.
He's like running amok, like but like in like his underwears. And again, Gakuto's so great.
Yeah.
They said, why don't you wear the uniform that Shio gave you? And he goes, I didn't want to sully it with my sweat. Because she's such a lovely woman and she did so much for us, which is great. Of course, they find out all the information. The email comes out. They talk about all this stuff, about the student council, everything. It all comes to light, and they become free. Like the last scene is them in suits, and they're back in school, and the credits roll.
Yeah, I actually really like that ending.
Yeah.
It also you're forgetting the setup where the underground student council is now going to jail.
Well, that's in the credits.
Oh, you're right. That blog. I guess if I'm going to talk about something, whenever Gakuto.
Yeah, Gakuto.
Yeah, he shows up. The chairman, like he's like stowed it away, right? And the chairman touches it like with his fingers, like he's got it stored up his ass, and so he like takes it out. He's like, "Here's proof," and like the chairman like clasps his hands together. Oh, I was fucking laughing my ass off.
I did not understand. So it has this like ending credit where like they talk about each character like Chio and Kiyoshi ending up together. They even have a scene where like Shingo and Joe and everyone have like a nice ending.
Yeah.
And then we get this final scene where they have introduced 3 new people.
Yeah.
They are now 3 new characters, and they are now running the underground student council.
Yeah.
Which I really love this scene.
Yeah.
Because the scene is like they basically the main person of the new underground student council rips off Mari's clothes, and Miyoku steps in to do it, and one of the other characters puts a cane up to her neck.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't do it. Like I was like, these guys are going to be the best. Yeah. And that made me want to invest in a season 2. So can y'all please drop a Prison School season 2? We need it.
Yeah. Why it hasn't been announced? No idea.
We need a Prison School season 2.
I don't care if you don't follow the manga.
I don't care if you don't follow the manga either. You need a season 2 Prison School. And that's how it ends. They go to prison, and now that's the end of it all. Great, dude. This is a great anime.
Dude, it was really good.
For being a fan service, this is one of the better ones we've done.
It's better than it deserves to be.
Yeah, I agree. It was a great anime. I enjoyed every episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let us know in the comments. Do you have anything else?
I don't have anything.
Yeah,
else.
make sure to share, comment, tell your friends about this. We're blowing up. We're at 1K subscribers.
We're super blowing up.
Yeah, we're super blowing up. I cannot wait to take another shot to talk about it. But I will catch you guys later. All right, bye.
Later.